Welcome in. I'm Palmer coming to you from the Raising Cane studio downtown in the capital city on this Monday. Hope your work week's off to a good start. Appreciate you hanging out with us on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Got Jordan Kitchens, Cassie Spazzali back there on the ones and twos. A weekend to react to. We will do it. LSU basketball gets a win. The women win by 1,000,000. The Senior Bowl went on in Mobile on Saturday. LSU had an MVP in that game. Also want to talk some baseball. I didn't get a chance to go out there this weekend and check out the team, but they got a couple of scrimmages in on Friday and Sunday. I want to talk about second base because it is the most hotly contested spot on the diamond. I've got a story up on LouisianaSports.net about it right now, but I want to talk about that at 2 o'clock. So we've got lots and lots and lots to get to. Let's crank it up the way we do every day with our opening drive.
Welcome to the big league.
It's time for Hunt's Opening Drive, presented by Fabry Chevrolet GMC in St. Francisville.
Let's start with the Senior Bowl, shall we? Of course, Matt Flynn, Jake Hester were there all of last week, got to take in a lot of the practice action, and then the guys put on the uniforms, put on their college helmets one more time, and went out there on Saturday. And when the dust had settled, Garrett Nussmeier was the MVP of the game. Now, look, I'm not trying to overreact to being the MVP of the Senior Bowl, especially when you look at the statistics. And Garrett in the game was 5 for 8 for 57 yards and an interception. Okay, so it's not as if he went out there and threw the ball 38 times and ran for 100 yards. That wasn't the calling. That wasn't the assignment. He's sharing duties with other quarterbacks. You're just trying to go out there and finish the week off. The practices are where this thing is really decided. But we talked about it last week, and I felt like it was necessary to highlight Garrett and the week that he was able to have because of how poorly his senior season went for all involved. The injury, everything on the field, from the offensive line to the play calling to the situations, nothing went the way you would have hoped. And so now he's got essentially 4 months to help make up for it. He's got a 2024 season in his back pocket where he looked pretty good for a lot of it. There were some bad games. He was bad against Alabama. He was bad in the second half against A&M. I wouldn't suggest he was great in the USC game, but you had the second half of the Ole Miss game where he was awesome. You had the first half of the A&M game where he was awesome, and he threw for 4,000 yards, and I thought showed the traits that could be attractive to some NFL teams. And then he had an opportunity to build on that as a senior and wasn't able to do it. So now he's got an opportunity to go out there in the Senior Bowl and then the Combine and then Pro Day and do whatever it is that he can. And I thought that it was very encouraging that he had the longest throw in terms of air yards in one of the practices, and he had the highest velocity of any of the quarterbacks in one of the practices. And that's very, very good because that's his best attribute, is his ability to get the ball down the field. And it was taken away from him in the 2025 season. It obviously showed back up in Mobile. And then you look at him pulling a read option around the right end for a touchdown. He ran it in. He led a scoring drive, 2 scoring drives, in fact, 1 for a touchdown, 1 for a kick. And obviously looked healthy, looked comfortable, and looked good. And you don't have to take my word for it because I'm not exactly an expert on draftable quarterbacks. However, Todd McShay has made a career out of analyzing players for the NFL draft, and he's got a podcast. And I thought this was an interesting nugget from his podcast that he liked what he saw from Garrett Nussmeier all week long.
Quarterback. Thought he looked pretty good on the first day. Second day, I thought he looked really good. Today, I thought he was, in really the last 2 days, the best quarterback, but it's not because of his size. It's not because of his elite arm. It's not because of his mobility. It's the way his feel for the game.
We talked about it because, again, we had tremendous field access. We're standing right behind him. We're seeing what he's seeing. And I said to you a couple times, man, I was like, man, I never would have seen that. And he was getting through it, finding guys, about to get hit, letting go of the ball. That was my biggest takeaway from him. Is I thought he saw the field well anyways, but I was impressed.
Garrett.
That's awesome to hear. That's from Todd McShay's podcast, and that is Garrett Nussmeier's best attribute. He is not 6'5". He does not have the best arm in the NFL draft. He is not an elite athlete. He's a better athlete than you probably think, but he's not an elite athlete. He's not going to run the ball in the NFL. But what he does is he understands football. He grew up in that house. he's prepared, and he's not afraid to throw the ball with anticipation. The best example of that, obviously, is the throw he made to Aaron Anderson in the Ole Miss game on the 4th down to put that game into overtime, where Aaron Anderson's running up the seam, and he's got a trail defender behind him, but Garrett knows he's going to cut over the top, and he put it through to a spot, and Aaron ended up there and slid into the end zone for a touchdown. But those are the kind of throws that not every college quarterback is willing to make. And his ability to make that decision and make that throw separates him from some of his peers. And that's hard to convey when you have an oblique injury and a screen-heavy offense and no running game and all of those things that were stacked against him in the fall. So obviously, in a setting where he's now healthy, he told Garrett and Matt, he told Matt and Jake last week that it really wasn't that he wasn't healed until about a month ago, and he didn't make the decision that he was going to be able to go and fully compete until recently. But he was healthy, and he was able to go out there. And if Todd McShay and his podcast partner are seeing this, you know that there are other teams that are seeing it. And this is what I talked about last week with Garrett. Like, he's not going to win over 30 NFL teams. Like, he's not. But if he can win over one, then you can improve that draft stock significantly. And we know this about NFL organizations. They will get aggressive with quarterbacks. Now, generally speaking, that applies to round 1, and Garrett's not going to go in round 1. But maybe somebody will push him up the board based on what he's able to do in this spring. The MVP of the Senior Bowl is irrelevant. It was freezing cold, and one team didn't score. So, like, it's not as if it was some sort of legendary performance. I'm just talking about the practices, the measurable things in terms of the velocity, the air yards, and then some of the reps that people that are there that are evaluating quarterbacks, that are evaluating the practices, that do this for a living, noticed. And that to me is really, really good, because this is something I keep going back to, and I don't feel bad repeating myself. I don't feel bad saying it over again. I think it's something that I really feel and I want to convey. Like, I want good things for Garrett Nussmeier because I think he did just about everything right while he was at LSU. He came in and had to wait. And then they brought in a transfer quarterback, so he had to wait again. And then he went out there and played, and he could have left, but he came back. Never transferred, didn't go to the NFL draft early, earned number 18, represented the program at media days, was hurt from August through November, never complained about it publicly, never acknowledged it publicly. Like, I just feel like in an era where the players have all the leverage, the players have all the power, they can do the things that they want to do, and oftentimes it doesn't really matter what uniform they're putting on. To him, it did matter. And I'm not faulting players that go into the transfer portal and get cash. I love the ones that come to LSU for it. But I am going to acknowledge when someone does it this way, because it doesn't happen that often. And so I'm bummed out that his career ended the way that it did, and I'm hopeful that some of that he invested back into LSU pays off for him in the professional ranks. And I think this week in Mobile was a really nice step forward. He'll continue to do some of that at the Combine, continue to do some of that in Pro Day. But truth be told, when you don't have a defense out there, it doesn't register the same. This was his last chance to go out there with a defense on the field and show what he's got. He'll be in shorts and a t-shirt the rest of the way forward. And that just doesn't carry as much weight as it does when there are 11 guys out there trying to make plays themselves. So, good week for Garrett Nussmeier by all accounts. We heard Jake and Matt talk about him last week. We saw it on the field in the game, and then you hear analysts afterward talking about how positive it was. And I think that's a great thing for Garrett Nussmeier. His legacy at LSU is a little bit complicated because of the way that things ended. I think it's very easy for a lot of people to forget that he threw for the second most yards in the history of LSU in a single season, that he's top 5 all-time in passing yards at LSU. Like, that doesn't necessarily click for a lot of people because it ended so poorly. But I don't know how much of that was his fault. Maybe some of it was, but a lot of it wasn't. The injury's certainly not. The offensive line is certainly not. The play calling is certainly not. And when you mix that gumbo together, like, the result was bad. And I'm hopeful that the next 2 months are really good for Garrett, and certainly it was a great week in Mobile for him. We'll see. I still think he's probably 5th, 6th, 7th round pick at this point, and that's a tall mountain to climb to make a roster and make an impact in the National Football League. It's a hard league to do it. And then this time last year, we thought maybe a first-round pick. That ship is sailed. But good week for Garrett, and I'm pumped up for him. So that's our opening drive here on this Monday. We've got so much to get to here over the next hour and 50 minutes. I'm excited to talk a little baseball with you. Coming up in 50 minutes, I walked across the street to WAFB, sat down with Musso, Koki Riley, the Advocate, John Eads of WAFB, and talked a little baseball. We sat down for like an hour and just chopped up LSU baseball. You'll be able to catch that in the coming days. But I want to talk second base because it's something we talked about a lot today, and it's something that a lot of people were asking me questions about, so we'll get into some of that. We've also got some Saints discussion. They're going to play in Paris. There's probably going to be a pretty good crowd of New Orleanians that head over to Paris for the first game in France in NFL history. We'll talk about that a little bit later. When we come back, though, Senior Bowl, Saints perspective, we'll get into some of that when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
It's a new month, so let's talk about some different things in terms of our friends over there at Oxford. All of January, we talked about the Alcohol Free for 40 Challenge, which you can still jump in, but February is Heart Month, and it's a great time to focus on your overall health and your wellness. Heart disease is the number one cause of death for men and women, and it's often preventable. So small, consistent habits can have a powerful impact on your heart health. Here's a couple of tips. Stay active. Exercise regularly. Eat a balanced diet that's got fruits, veggies, whole grains. Try to manage your stress and get enough sleep if that's possible. Avoid smoking. Limit your alcohol intake. All of these things can be really, really critical to great heart health, and it's especially important to highlight that in February, which is Heart Month. They've got a lot of different information there at Ochsner.org. Check in with your doctors. Make sure you're on track for a healthy 2026. They have got locations throughout Louisiana. Again, that website is Ochsner.org.
Jordan Faber here with some exciting news. Faber Automotive has officially arrived. We're proud to introduce your new hometown dealership, Faber Chevrolet GMC. That means more inventory, better deals, and the same great local team. Now backed by the trusted Faber family name. Whether you're shopping or servicing, you'll feel the difference from day one. Allow us the opportunity to earn your business.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Visit us in St. Francisville or online at FabryChevrolet.com.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Make Raising Cane's the first stop for your second line. Get extra saucy with a Cane's doubloon for just $1 that scores you extra cane sauce through April 3rd with any purchase. Let the good times roll this Mardi Gras with Raising Cane's. One love.
At Parrish, we're built for tough players and tough roofs.
Coach is tough on us about preparation, and Parrish brings that same championship mindset.
Do business with someone you know. Parrish Construction and Roofing.
ParrishBuilt.com. At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Obviously, a really tough week for a lot of the folks in North Louisiana over into Mississippi, really throughout the Southeast, with the power outages that were so prevalent in that winter storm that blew through early last week. It's just a reminder that not just hurricane season where you can lose power for an extended amount of time in Louisiana. So get that Generac home standby generator installed by our friends at Boudreaux's Electrical. Of course, you're familiar with them. Been a longtime partner with ESPN Baton Rouge. We're so thrilled to welcome them back to the Hunt Palmer Show. Neil and Melissa have been running things at Boudreaux's Electrical for over 40 years. If you want to get a new standby generator at your home, Boudreaux's Electrical needs to be your call. 985-397-1562, 985-397-1562, or 225-393-89. Again, locally owned, locally operated. And if you have purchased a generator from one of the national companies and you're just not really thrilled with the customer service that you're getting, get the Boudreaux's Boost and allow Boudreaux's Electrical to come in and service that generator to make sure it is up and running and ready to go when you need it. And obviously a lot of folks around Louisiana needed it this past week, and there's always another hurricane season right around the corner. So give them a call, 985-397-1562, or check them out online, boudreauxelectrical.com, boudreauxelectrical.com. You know, one of the things that has been great for me since the launch of LouisianaSports.net has been Ross Jackson's coverage of the Saints, and specifically last year leading up to the draft. Like, you could feel like you're a dog chasing cars with the NFL draft because there are so many players and there's so much coverage. It's just really hard to drill down and take it all in the lead up. Certainly, once the draft is over, you know where things are going. But Ross does such an awesome job staying on top with mock drafts and scouting. And he was over at the Senior Bowl last week and has some great sources within the organization. And I started to, one, read his stuff, and two, start to formulate some of my own opinions about what the Saints need to do in this draft. I've said repeatedly, time and time and time again, how vital this draft is for the organization and how big last week was for the organization to devote the resources that they do to the Senior Bowl. But you start to think about like absolute must needs, and I think most people suggest wide receiver is a spot that they need to upgrade. I think most people would suggest that cornerback is something they'll be looking for. I think most people would suggest anytime you can add an impact pass rusher, you need to do that. And then there are some that would suggest that running back is a spot that the Saints need to look for. But as I survey things, guard might be the biggest need of them all. It really might be. Because you consider what they had last year. You had Cesar Ruiz, who is a below average starting guard on the right side. And then you had Trevor Penning, who you were just trying to get anything out of. You ended up trading him, and Dylan Radins played in his spot, and that's a below-average guard. And you kind of assess the situation, and you've got an inexperienced, I hesitate to call Tyler Shuck young too often, but an inexperienced quarterback whose interior offensive line has below-average guard play and then a center that was hurt. So Eric McCoy will come back, and he can play at a Pro Bowl level. And Ruiz is still under contract, so he's going to be there. But if you can get a guard to come in and play above league average, what a transformation the interior offensive line could go through with hopefully a full season of McCoy, which is always a question mark, but we can hope right now. It's February. With McCoy coming back and then a new starter at left guard, that starts to look different, especially as your tackles mature, and we all feel pretty good about what those two guys have brought in their rookie and then in the case of Fuaga, his second year. Like, it could be a big, big change for this Saints organization if you can find a guard. You're not going to take a guard with the 8th overall pick, but you have more picks. And Ross has highlighted a couple of guys that he really thought played well at the Senior Bowl that potentially could be there in the middle rounds. One is Georgia Tech's Keelan Rutledge, and the other is Auburn's Jeremiah Wright. Rutledge was a first-team All-ACC performer at Georgia Tech as a junior in 2024. He was a first-team All-League player. As I mentioned, he was a first-team All-America by Sports Info Solutions. I don't know what that is, but somebody thought he played pretty well. And you're talking about a guy who was a great teammate, a great leader in his offensive line room, and Pro Football Focus thought was exceptional, especially in the pass blocking game. You look back at his junior season, he was the top guard in the 19th nationally in pass blocking at 77.8 for the season. That is excellent. Excellent. He's not the most imposing, but he's a big dude, 6'4", and now listed at 330 pounds. Ideal size for a guard, a lot of snaps under his belt. He started his career at Middle Tennessee State, then was a 2-year starter at Georgia Tech. I think that is a guy that's got real potential at guard that Ross thinks could be there in the middle rounds. The other guy is an interesting story. It's Jeremiah Wright, who began his Auburn career as a defensive lineman, but has transitioned to the offensive line. He did that in 2022. He was a backup guard. He became a starting right guard in 2024, and then in 2025 started off 12 games at right guard as well. That's 24 consecutive starts, 53 games. And look, when you talk about Pro Football Focus, 5 different times he graded out at 90 or higher. That's really, really good. So these are guys that you could potentially see in the middle rounds that could be transformative. I'm not going to pigeonhole the Saints into 2 specific players here, but I think more so the point is just to highlight this is a spot that the Saints really need to address, and guard is something that most teams will address in the middle rounds of the NFL draft. It's not often you're going to see guards go in the first round. That's for edge rushers, tackles, quarterbacks, corners. Really, those type of impact positions will often go in the first round. Guards will wait a little bit longer, and the Saints have multiple picks in the middle rounds that they can assess this. Now, they can obviously spend a little money in free agency at guard as well, and I wouldn't complain about that one bit. I'm not telling you where you have to get them, but I do know this, and this goes back to the beginning point that I made. Like, Ross was all over the Saints draft last year, talking about some of the guys that he thought they really might target specific, and then the positions he felt like they would go after. And this is where he's kind of started with the Senior Bowl prep. He watched those 2 guys in workouts and really was impressed with both of them. I'll give you his words on them. He says, Rutledge, Georgia Tech guard, physical, violent player, great movement ability. And then he said Wright, the Auburn right guard, more of an interior dominator with an impressive anchor. He's a big dude, as you imagine, with a defensive line background. He's enormous and a really good athlete. And I think these 2 guys make a ton of sense. Radens is on an expiring contract. You've obviously moved on from Penning. Like, there's just not a lot there opposite Ruiz, and something's got to change. You have to give your quarterback every available opportunity to succeed. And last year, when he was thrust into duty, it wasn't ideal. You just ditched your number 2 wide receiver. Your center was hurt. Left guard was a problem. Right guard was a problem. You did not have a good running game. Like, it was about as adverse as a situation could get for Tyler Shuck, and he still performed very, very well week in, week out down the stretch. Now you've got to fortify things. And while Mickey Loomis wasn't going to be super forthcoming in his availability at Senior Bowl, which I was fine with, you did hear him say, like, yeah, we've got to do a good job of putting pieces around Tyler. and I think one of them has got to be at guard. So whether that's a third-round pick, jumping the gun a little bit early, I think it's that important. If I were to rank the Saints' needs this offseason, I think I might put guard first and wide receiver second. I've been on the wide receiver kick for a couple of weeks now, and we've discussed some available options at wide receiver, and quite frankly, it's just easier to find a wide receiver than it is to find a guard. But if I look at wide receiver and I see Olave and I see Vele, and those guys are there, and then you get Jalen Polk back, and then you see what you got down the line with Tipton and that whole crew. Like, it's not great, and you need to address it, but I look at guard and I go, well, none of this looks great. Like, at least I have some functional parts at wide receiver. I don't have much that works here at guard. They have to address that, and I'm, again, not telling you to do that in the first round, but I would like to see it happen there in the middle rounds, maybe as early as round 3, if these guys are available. So I enjoyed reading Ross's piece. You can do that up at LouisianaSports.net. He'll be churning out great Saints content every day until the draft. A lot of mock drafts, a lot of discussion about different prospects and different positions. Last year, he was all over it, and I'm excited to read some this year and kind of wade into those waters with this look at a couple guys that really shined out at the Senior Bowl. Jordan, where's guard on your list of needs for New Orleans?
I mean, it's up there. You watch Ruiz. That says enough.
Unfortunately.
I'm about to say, so that says enough right there.
The morning guys just hammer Ruiz.
I mean,
they just hammer.
But is it not deserved?
I mean,
I'm about to say, it's not like they're picking on him. I mean, we all got 2 eyeballs, so I would say it's up there. I would rather, spend some cheese on that position and bring in a veteran, somebody that you don't have to teach the position. You already have a lot of young guys on the O-line, so I would rather pay somebody that, all right, we can rely on this guy.
Hey, they have flexibility there for the first time in a decade.
There you go. So, now we can get out the clearance rack and go look at maybe some Gucci or something real high class fashion. We can start moving up.
There's a significant bump in the salary cap this year. The NFL sent their initial range, and it puts the Saints $15 million over. That's chump change.
I don't even know the last time we was over 15 million. So without them having to do some little,
it's usually usually 91. And so 15, that's child's play. And have that done by lunch.
Exactly. So you're giving people that know how to nickel and dime money for the first time in a while. So I'm expecting, let's put some money towards the line. That's what I think.
We shall see. A couple of wins for LSU on the hardwood over the weekend. We'll talk about it when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC, St. Francisville, Highway 61. Go see them. Looking for a new ride in this new year? Lease is about to be up. Go see the Fabry family. You have for 35 years. You know that you're going to get an incredible buying experience, wonderful customer service, and that service extends after the sale. They got a great service department there in St. Francisville. They service all makes in that department, so get on by if you're having some issues. But again, if you're looking for a new ride, they've got a great inventory of new and pre-owned. Looking for a Tahoe, those are hot right now. They've got a full inventory of them right now at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. They've got your Suburbans, Silverados on the truck side. Also got Sierras, Yukons, Denali's, all on the GMC side. They would love to see you there. You can start your buying process online at FabryChevrolet.com. See that entire inventory there. Survey what you're looking at. If you'd like to get behind the wheel, go by and see them at Highway 61 in St. Francisville. Fabry family, new to that location, just started up on October 1st, but they welcome you to St. Francisville on Highway 61. Check them out online as well, FabryChevrolet.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Make Raising Cane's the first stop for your second line. Get extra saucy with a Cane's doubloon for just $1 that scores you extra cane sauce through April 3rd with any purchase. Let the good times roll this Mardi Gras with Raising Cane's. One love.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. We are honored and humbled to receive from our clients in Google. Based on 5-star client reviews, the designation of our law firm is highly recommended. Whether you hire us at all, please give us a call, 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. Injuries happen when you least expect them to, making your life more complicated. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates, we know this, and we strive to help each of our clients during these times. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient. And you will have your pool in no time.
At Parrish, we bring the same commitment to your home that champions bring to the game.
Do business with someone you know. Parrish Construction and Roofing.
Parrish Construction and Roofing. ParrishBuilt.com.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even JB could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of JB Falgu.
When you can't rely on technology, you can rely on Mountain Cold Refreshment.
Dave's back on.
Coors Light. Choose chill.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Talk some LSU baseball coming up in about 25 minutes, top of hour number 2. Get into the second base battle and kind of the way I think that shakes out. If you'd like to read about it before then, you can do it at LouisianaSports.net. It's the top story on the site right now. I'm going through a position every single day over on LouisianaSports.net. Started with first base yesterday, second base today. We'll get into shortstop tomorrow, and you can probably take it from there. So I want to talk about second base. It's been the most hotly contested position and one that I think has the most variables in it. So we'll do that coming up at 2 o'clock. But right now, tell you about the Highland Insurance Group. HighlandIG.com is that website. Jonathan Carver and his team are phenomenal folks to work with on the insurance side. I'll tell you property and casualty, and that obviously was a big deal last week as the storm blew through a great portion of our state. But I also want to talk about group and employee benefits. The Howard Insurance Group loves to do that. You know, if you're a business owner or someone in HR that handles the benefits, that it's a huge deal in terms of recruiting talent to your organization and keeping talent, retaining talent in your organization. You feel like you're not in the right hands as far as your benefits go, or that the renewal that you're planning on getting may be really uncomfortable. That's not uncommon, and the Highland Insurance Group is happy to help you with that. So if you're looking for new health care for your employees or benefits, let the Highland Insurance Group check out your current situation and see what they can do. They're an independent broker. That means they've got a relationship with dozens of carriers. They can look around and make sure that you're in the right hands. Jonathan Carver and his team right here in Baton Rouge. You can find them online at HighlandIG.com. It's the Highland Insurance Group. They're online at HighlandIG.com. I'm watching LSU and South Carolina hoops back on Saturday, And, the Tigers build a lead in the first half. They're playing really good offensive basketball, as they generally do. They're a pretty good offensive team. I wouldn't suggest they're a good defensive team at all. They're bad on defense most of the time. But they swelled that lead up to 10 midway through the first half. P.J. Carter hit a 3, and they flirted with that 10-point lead a lot of the first half, stretched it to as much as 13. And then they started to give up some threes, as they do. And still, they maintained a lead for the majority of the game. And all I could think about was like, why did you get down to this team by 28 points on your home floor? LSU could play South Carolina in the PMAC 30 more times, and they wouldn't get down 28 points in the first half. But they did, and they lost to a terrible South Carolina team. And that's part of the reason they're in an awful spot. South Carolina started to make some shots, as teams do on LSU. They made 5 of 6 threes at one point over the course of 5 minutes, and they took a lead. And I thought to myself, well, that's probably going to be it. You're playing without DJ Thomas. You're on the road, even though there's nobody there. And you had a lead. It got up to 13. You couldn't defend, and then your offense went a little bit cold, and now you've given up the lead, and they've got a 5-point lead, and you're pretty much cooked. But to their credit, they fought back. They played hard. They played pretty well, and they got it to a tight game situation. And the game in regulation came down to a pair of late threes. South Carolina got a good look from the left wing and missed it. Eli Ellis, who had hit some shots in the second half, missed it. And then LSU missed a 3, which was a pretty good look from Rashad King on an inbounds pass. It didn't go, and that sent the game to overtime. I want to talk about that before we get into overtime. LSU had the ball with a 5-second differential in the shot clock, and it was tied. And they took a timeout, and they came out, and they dribbled the clock down. And Rashad King had the ball, and they set up a high ball screen, and South Carolina hard-hedged it and doubled it, and LSU had no answer for it. King had nowhere to throw it. He lost the ball. It's on the ground. Then it ends up being LSU has to fall on it and call timeout. They thought it was a jump ball. But that's such poor late-game execution to not be able to handle a double out there in the middle of the open floor and have an outlet and create a shot opportunity. It's just bad execution. And they ended up having a good execution on the inbounds. They got a good shot, but the last possession was terrible. But then you got into overtime, and it was a hideous game to watch in overtime because it was just a parade to the foul line. You look at the overtime box score, and LSU was 2 for 7 from the floor, 1 of 3 from 3, and South Carolina was 1 of 5 from the floor. But all the points came from the foul line. LSU made 9 free throws in overtime, and South Carolina made 7. But the biggest play of the game, LSU with a 2-point lead, they have the ball. South Carolina is a little bit frantic on defense. They're trying to trap, and LSU gets the ball to the middle of the floor and then kicks it over to McKinnon, who was wide open on the right wing, and he buried a 3. They absolutely had to have it, and he buried it. And to LSU's credit, against a team that's really bad at shooting threes, except for that one half against LSU in January, LSU kept up on the three-point line. For the game, both teams made 9 threes. And when LSU is reasonably close on the three-point line, they generally have a good chance to win. The Tigers shot 52% from the floor in this game. 52% from the floor. They shot 41% from the 3. They shot 84% from the line. That was a really good effort. The disappointing thing on the other side for LSU is that the South Carolina team, which is not good, only turned the ball over 6 times in 45 minutes of basketball. That's so little disruption. To only force 6 turnovers, and one of the turnovers was on a second free throw that was intentionally missed by Michi Johnson because they were down by 3 and there was not much time left, and he missed the first free throw, so he had to intentionally miss the second one, and he banged it off the backboard, which it literally made me laugh when I was watching the game. But that was one of the turnovers. So I'm not going to give LSU a ton of credit defensively because Michi Johnson couldn't hit the rim on his free throw. So essentially, you forced 5 turnovers in 45 minutes of basketball against the worst team in the league. That's just not good defense. So look, LSU's not in a much of a different spot than they were when they got on the plane to go to Columbia. You're now 2-7. You get this midweek off, and then you'll host Georgia on Saturday. I don't have any delusions that anything was fixed here. It's really disappointing that DJ Thomas once again couldn't play, still dealing with that ankle injury. He got hurt in the game back in the last midweek and retaped it and went back in, but he's banged up and obviously couldn't go on Saturday. Nice job by those guys. I'm glad they won a game. They're on a 3-game skid, but they're still in a really bad spot, and I don't anticipate that spot improving significantly. Like I said last week, I'm pulling for them. I'll watch every dribble on Saturday and hope they find a way to beat Georgia at home. But it's you beat the worst team in the league in overtime, so you'll take that to move to 2-7 in the league. On the women's side, a clinic by Kim Mulkey's team on Sunday. They are really, really, really firing on all cylinders offensively. We saw a lot of this in November and December, but it was just against such bad teams that you can't and shouldn't put any stock into it. But now you look at what they're doing against some of the top of the league for sure at times. And this is a ranked Alabama team that they played, but they hung 103 on them and beat them by 40. And you look at the box score, and it's just a lot of contributions from a lot of different players. And it's just a really fun team to watch offensively at this point. They shot the ball well from the 3, 10 of 21, shot it very well from the floor. In the game, they were at 56%. It's really good. And I think the key to the whole deal is Jada Richard, who has just been great. She didn't shoot a lot, but she was 5 for 5 from the floor and 3 of 3 from three-point range. So she finishes with 16 points on 5 field goal attempts. That's getting it done. And you knew that Michaela Williams and Flau'jae were going to be great. You had a reasonable expectation that Malaysia Fulwiley would come in and be an impact player because she's done that in the SEC. You didn't know what you were going to get from the post, but Richard was not somebody that we talked about a lot early in the preseason, and she's done a really good job. So Lady Tigers get that win over a ranked Alabama team by 40. And we talked to Matthew Verney. We'll talk to him again on Wednesday. He thinks they're a threat. I have no reason to doubt that at this point. I know what I'm looking at on a scoreboard. I don't know what UConn's got. I don't know what South Carolina's got. I don't know what UCLA's got outside of the bets girl. I don't know what the top of the sport looks like, candidly, because I don't watch a ton of that. But I do know what LSU's got, and I can look at a scoreboard and see them score 103 points on a team that's ranked in the top 25. That's a team that's got it figured out on offense. And I know that Kim Mulkey takes so much pride in the defense. And look, while they scored 103 offensively, they held Bama to 63. So good effort by the Tigers in the PMAC on Sunday. They improved to 7-2. That's 7 wins in a row for them on the hardwood. So want to get a little basketball in. We're going to spend a lot of time on baseball in hour number 2 and a little bit of football as well. Big announcement by the New Orleans Saints yesterday. Well, a report, I guess I should say. We'll talk about that in hour number 2. To finish out the hour here, I do want to talk about something that happened on Friday, specifically with LouisianaSports.net and, of course, with LSU as well. So I will issue something of an apology, and we'll talk about it when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
First American Bank and Trust. First American Bank and Trust. Looking for a commercial loan? First American Bank and Trust. Looking for a personal loan for that house of your dreams? First American Bank and Trust. They've been doing it in Southeast Louisiana for 116 years. Started up in 1910, now 25 locations throughout the area. Talking Dutchtown, Jones Creek, then you go up on I-12, Hammond, Tangipahoa, St. Tammany, then down to St. James, St. John, Lafourche. No matter where you are in Southeast Louisiana, there's always a First American Bank and Trust that is nearby. Got one right there in Metairie as well. And look, this is a community bank. It's a community feel. And that's why the people that work there for a long time. Their management averages 25 years with the bank. And these people that you deal with, they're part of your community. Their kids play sports with your kids. They go to your same church. They also have the assets to assist you that you need. Because you might say, well, it's like a mom and pop shop. Yeah, it's great. They'll answer the phone if I call, but like, can they do what I need? They can. And when you do have a decision that's going to be made, it's going to be made in Southeast Louisiana. It's not going to be made in Atlanta. It's not going to be made in Seattle. It's right here in our state with our people. It's First American Bank and Trust. Go by and see them today. It's First American Bank and Trust.
Most roofers just replace your shingles. At Pelican, we diagnose your roof, digging deep down to find the root cause of your roof symptoms. Now cough for me? Good. We don't ignore your roof's issues, we address them. Let's just take care of this right here. Helping your roof to become the best version of itself. Interesting that you would say that. How does that make you feel? So call Pelican Roofing for your free roof checkup today.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
I'm lawyer Collins Locke Meredith. Among the most important factors to consider when you're hiring an injury attorney is trust. You trust your attorney will put your interest first, treat you with respect, fairness, and honesty. You trust them to be there for you when you need them. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, thousands of clients have trusted us to represent them, and for good reasons. Please visit us at LockeMeredith.com to learn more, and whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit LouisianaPropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs. Set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free confidential help now.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
So closing up hour number one here on this Monday. I made a mistake on Friday night. Not the first time I made a mistake. Not going to be the last time I make a mistake, but I did make a mistake, and I wanted to apologize and to bring it up. I could have buried it because it was Friday night, and it's past. The news cycles run through it at this point, but I felt the need to talk about it here. At LouisianaSports.net, we do a lot of original content. I've got right now a portal profile series going on that's talking about every transfer portal ad that LSU made. I'm breaking down the baseball team position by position. A lot of original content. But part of what we do at LouisianaSports.net as well is some aggregation. Somebody breaks a story. Shea Dixon says this guy committed to LSU. Well, we're going to say Shea Dixon reported and then tell you that you got a commitment. And in this case, on Friday evening, The Athletic tweeted out a story with an LSU football helmet as its picture and header that said the College Sports Commission, the CSC, was investigating LSU for improper NIL payments, and that LSU was the first team to be investigated. In the story, it details that they don't have any details of the investigation, but they did go as far as to mentioned by name Sam Leavitt, who LSU has gotten out of the transfer portal at quarterback, mentioned Damon Williams, the Washington quarterback, mentioned Brendan Sorsby, who transferred from Cincinnati to Texas Tech, and talked about how LSU was involved in those recruitments. And so I read the story, and I wrote a story on LouisianaSports.net that said The Athletic is reporting that LSU is being investigated for improper NIL payments by the CSC. And in the story, I mentioned Sam Leavitt, and then when I sent out the push notification on our app, and I sent out a tweet from my Twitter account, I said the CSC was investigating LSU football. Now, to be clear, The Athletic did not say that they were investigating LSU football, but they put a football helmet on the picture, and they mentioned 3 football players by name. And I incorrectly connected those dots and put them forward. And that was a mistake. And I got it wrong because I reached out to an LSU representative. He said, no, we have been in contact with the CSC. This is not football related at all. We feel it will be resolved rather quickly. And we understand that there have been more than a dozen schools contacted for similar situations. The Athletic happened to single out LSU. So here's what I know. I know that LSU is suggesting it's not football related. I know that The Athletic did not say football in their story, and I know that I used football in my tweet and in my push notification. I got that wrong, and I apologize for that. The most important thing is not to be first. The most important thing is to get it right. And we've done a great job of that at LouisianaSports.net for the most part. But look, I went to journalism school. You got to get it right. If you got anything wrong on a journalism report that got turned in, you got a 0. Like 0. Not like, oh, that's 10 points off. Like 0. And I misled. It was unintentional, and I was connecting some dots, but it was a bad job by me. I also think that it was a little bit questionable by The Athletic to put the football helmet on there and then to go into quarterbacks when you don't have any details of the CSC investigation, I think is presumptuous at best. They want clicks. They need people to see that they're out there. They're looking for subscriptions. I know the game. I know how it works. And technically speaking, they did not do anything wrong because they did not say in their story that the football team was under investigation. But in my aggregation on a Friday night, I put it out there and it was up there for 30 minutes that it was football, and I was wrong, and I wanted to address that today on Monday's show. I did via Twitter. I took down some of the stuff that was incorrect, not to hide from it, but I don't want incorrect information up there. And I'll tell you this. I had a conversation with an LSU official about the investigation, and to you, the LSU fan that is listening that doesn't really know what's going on here, LSU is cooperating fully with the investigation, and as I mentioned there briefly, they believe it will be resolved rather quickly. It's not going to be something that grabs a lot of headlines, is the understanding that I got from the conversation. I'm not going to go too deep on that. I'll just let that rest, but like, this is not something that you as an LSU fan should be gravely concerned about here, okay? Lane Kiffin was tweeting screenshots of, hey, this is not football related, and highlighting things, and all the Ole Miss fans got all up in arms. See, that immediately, ha, 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 all that, and none of it's real. It's not a football thing at all, and something that LSU feels like will be dealt with rather quickly. But I couldn't just bury it on a Friday. We talked PR last week about when you release something, when you want it to get buried, and when you release something, when you want it to dominate a portion of the news cycle. And something that happens at 7 o'clock on Friday like this generally gets buried pretty quickly. And by the time Monday rolls around, nobody's thinking about it. And I could have just let it be, and that's probably what some people would have done. I just don't feel like that's right. I wanted to address the fact that I got it wrong, and we'll do better than that moving forward. Part of the deal. Not going to be the last time we make a mistake here, but I just wanted to address it. So there you have it. LSU is under investigation by the CSC. It's not the football team, and I hesitate to use the word it's not that big a deal, but because everything that they're dealing with is an issue. But this is not something that you as an LSU fan should lose a lot of sleep over, I wouldn't imagine. So that's my 2 cents on that situation from Friday. Missed it in the first hour? Catch it on demand wherever you find your sound. Open things up talking about Garrett Nussmeier in his week at the Senior Bowl. Had a quote from Todd McShay in that segment. You can find that at Hunt on LSU. It was a great week for Garrett, and I'm thrilled for him. Capped it with a Senior Bowl MVP. Very cool. So we did that at the top of the show. Second segment, what are the Saints looking at? Offensive guard is something Ross Jackson feels like they need to be looking at for sure. And we discussed a couple options there that Ross has detailed on LouisianaSports.net. You can find my Saints content at Hunt on Saints. Hoops got a win on Saturday in Columbia and Sunday in the PMAC. We talked a little about LSU men's and women's basketball. So lots and lots in the rearview mirror. You can check that out on demand wherever you find your sound. In the second hour, we're going to kick things off with baseball. Second base is a hotly contested position right now between 3 players. I'll tell you about that, kind of my projection for it all. We'll do that after SportsCenter and national headlines on this Monday edition of The Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC. FabryChevrolet.com is that website. Huge inventory, new and pre-owned vehicles there on Highway 61 in St. Francisville. If you're looking for a Chevy Tahoe, they got it at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. If you're looking for a Chevy Suburban, they got it at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. They've got Silverados as well if you're looking for a new truck. GMC Sierra, they got you. Yukons, they're in stock. Denali's, they got those as well. It's a new year. You want a new ride, go see my friends at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. You know the name. Fabry's have been in business in this town for more than 3 decades. 3 locations, 5 brands. So proud now to have that Chevy GMC spot in St. Francisville. So make the short drive from Baton Rouge. Maybe if you're up there in Baker, the Felicianas, Point Capee, or New Roads, or Ventress, go see them at Fabry Chevrolet GMC in St. Francisville over on Highway 61. You, of course, can always go to the website. That's FabryChevrolet.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. If you're battling an insurance company because of a wreck not your fault and they're not calling you back or being fair, whether you hire us at all, give us a call, 272-5555, or email Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates. You have nothing to lose.
Hello, I'm Collins Meredith. If you've been injured on the job, you'll likely have a workers' compensation claim, but you may also have a tort claim, which opens up significant recovery rights not normally available for a work injury. If this is you, call us or come see us at Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit LouisianaPropane.com.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs, set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free, confidential help now.
Most roofers just replace your shingles. At Pelican, we diagnose your roof, digging deep down to find the root cause of your roof symptoms. Now cough for me? Good. We don't ignore your roof's issues, we address them. Let's just take care of this right here. Helping your roof to become the best version of itself. Interesting that you would say that. How does that make you feel? So call Pelican Roofing for your free roof checkup today.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The Rams have their fingers crossed when it comes to quarterback Matthew Stafford. Coach Sean McVay said he does not have a timetable for Stafford to make a decision on his future, but is hopeful he'll be back. McVay also said the team will do an extensive search for its next offensive coordinator, with Mike LaFleur now Arizona's next head coach. So the Cardinals' new coach is set, but the future of their quarterback is not. A fresh start for Kyler Murray elsewhere might not be a bad thing, says ESPN NFL analyst Dominique Foxworth.
I still think he's incredibly talented. Of course, he's uniquely built to play quarterback, which isn't always good, but I think he's a guy that in the right situation could help out a lot. And finding a new team, sometimes it's a wake-up call that players need to kind of fulfill their potential. So I think Kyler Murray's career is far from over, given his athleticism and arm strength. We just hope that he ends up in the right spot so he can fulfill his potential.
Arizona has the 3rd overall pick in the upcoming NFL draft. The Ravens expected to hire Dolphins defensive coordinator Anthony Weaver as their new DC. NHL Predators GM Barry Trotz retiring, but will stay on until his successor is found.
Hey, it's Evan Cohen. Coming up Tuesday, we continue to get you ready for the big game. Mike Vrabel versus Mike McDonald. I'll tell you who has the advantage in the battle of Mikes. It's on Sportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Now, the Hunt Palmer Show.
Yes! I feel like I've been waiting for this my entire life.
You're listening to the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Jolly good fun. Jolly good.
Locking down the middle of the day.
America's favorite daytime fun show.
Live from the Raising Cane's studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Hour 2, Monday edition Hunt Palmer Show, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Hope your work week's off to a good start. Thanks for hanging out with us here. A lot busy action there in the first hour. A lot of football, some basketball talk as well. Let's transition to the Diamond. LSU will open its season a week from Friday, so less than 2 weeks now between now and opening day for the Tigers, who will look to defend their 2025 national championship. I told y'all in the first hour, spent an hour earlier today at WAFB with John Eads, Koki Riley, and Musso talking some LSU baseball. You'll be able to find that on YouTube coming up here in the coming days, and they'll have a preseason special over there on WAFB. But I've got a position preview series going right now on LouisianaSports.net. Started yesterday with first base on February the 1st, and now second base here on the 2nd. And I think that second base is the most interesting position on the field. Right now, Kade Arambidi is your catcher. I think Zach York has won the first base job. Stephen Milam is clearly the shortstop. Haven't seen any reason to suggest that Trent Caraway is not going to be the third baseman. Then you've got your returning outfield minus Josh Pearson from Omaha last year with Chris Stanfield in left, Derek Curiel in center, and Jake Brown in right. So second base is the only position I find that's up for grabs right now. And as you look at it, I think it's a three-man race. And it's three guys who are bat-first players. They're hitters who can play second base. It's Tanner Reeves, who was a JUCO star at Blinn and then lost his job at third base last year because he didn't play good enough defense, and Michael Braswell ended up playing that position even though he hit 189 for the season. You've got Seth Dardar, who transfers in from Kansas State. He spent 3 years in the Ivy League, one at Kansas State, now down at LSU for his final year of college eligibility. And then you've got Braden Simpson, who was a stellar offensive player at High Point last year. Just had a monster season at High Point. He hit, I think, 22 home runs. Yeah, 22 home runs, 389 batting average, also 24 doubles. His OPS for the season last year at High Point was 1295, which is way up there. So those three guys are kind of fighting for this job. And if you made me guess who the starter was on opening day, and I knew that it was going to be a right-handed pitcher, I think Tanner Reeves is probably your starter. And keep in mind, I think that there's a reasonable chance that someone who doesn't start among these three is your DH that day. And I also think that we're going to see a rotation of these guys. But you've got really good offensive players. As I mentioned, Simpson had a huge year at High Point last year. If you look at Dardar, he led Kansas State in hitting last year at .326, hit 13 home runs, including one off of Cade Anderson. And then Tanner Reeves, he was a stud at Blinn in junior college. In 2 seasons in junior college, he hit 28 home runs and drove in 142 runs. And he hits left-handed. And last year, he was okay offensively. He just couldn't handle the workload defensively, and that's why they had to go to Braswell. So that is something he's got to continue to work on. I did a segment 2 weeks ago when I went out to a scrimmage, and Tanner Reeves misplayed 2 balls. He did not catch a double play ball that he was supposed to turn at second base, and then did not play a ball that was hit to his left well, and it skipped by him into right field. He's not a great defensive player, but he is a good hitter, and that's important. Now, defense is paramount, and somebody's got to play very well defensively, or you're not going to be in the lineup. There are options here. So that's important, but these guys can really swing the bat, and they've shown that at various places in their college careers. Reeves and Dardar are left-handed. I think they will play against right-handed pitching. Simpson hits right-handed. I believe he will play against left-handed pitching. Simpson has also played first base opposite York in these inter-squad games. York is the first baseman for one team, and Simpson has often been the first baseman for the other team. So I think this is going to be a platoon situation. We saw that last year in right field with Jake Brown and Josh Pearson, and I think you very well could see it again this year at second base unless someone just runs away and hides, and I don't know that that's going to happen. The good news for these guys, as I mentioned, is that there are DH at-bats available to these guys if they're not in the lineup at second base that day. And keep in mind, what also this allows is for pinch hitting opportunities late in games as guys switch. You go to different bullpen arms. Like, remember last year, Dave Van Horn had a huge decision to make in Omaha, and he decided to let Jake Brown hit against right-handed pitching, and instead of going to the lefty and maybe getting Josh Pearson in there, and Brown comes in and does the job. So Jay Johnson's not afraid to platoon some guys. He's not afraid to use some other options. John Pearson did a lot of swinging the bat against left-handed pitching last year. He likes to play those matchups. And so I think that's what you've got in this situation. Daniel Dickinson last year played all 68 games, started every game for LSU, including the last 10 with a broken hand. But he hit .315 with 12 homers. I think LSU will replace that production pretty easily. These 3 guys, given the opportunity, especially considering matchup play, where you're going to get the left-handed guys to face right-handed pitching most of the time and the right-handed guy to face left-handed pitching most of the time, I think they will hit .315, and I think they will hit 12 homers combined. I think they'll hit more than that, actually. So I think offensively, you will at least stay flat, but perhaps be better than you were last year offensively at second base. You will not be as good defensively. Daniel Dickinson was a really good defensive second baseman. I thought it was poetry that the final batted ball of the season was a two-hopper right to Dickinson, who flipped to Milam, who turned the double play. For a team that had the highest fielding percentage in LSU baseball history at .981 last year, to have it finish on a clean, good defensive play. Now, it was a tailor-made two-ball. It was a hard-hit two-hopper right at Dickinson, like moving him towards the bag. You can't draw it up any easier than that, and I use air quotes on that. But to see those guys make a really smooth play around the bag to finish the season just made all the sense in the world, and you're not going to be as good defensively. You still have Milam at short, who's great. Caraway has been better than expected at third. I think Zach York is a very adequate defensive first baseman. But at second base, where Dickinson showed that range and was so consistent, made the tough plays, made the routine plays, like you're not going to be that agile. Like Seth Dardar looks more like a first baseman. Braden Simpson has played some second, has played some third, and I think is a reasonable defender. But he's not LSU because he played good defense. He's at LSU because he hit .389 with 22 homers. And then Reeves lost his job last year because of defense. He's not a premium defender. And that's an up-the-middle position in the diamond. But I think it's a spot that LSU will be okay defensively. And if a guy's not okay defensively, he won't play because they have 2 other options. And the other thing about this is that these guys are really old. You've got 5th-year player in Reeves. You've got a fifth-year player in Dardar, and you've got a fourth-year player in Simpson. So you're not asking a young player to come in and play. You're asking a very, very old player to come in and play. I think LSU plays 5 games in 6 days to start the season. You're going to see LSU use multiple second basemen in probably all of those games. Maybe not, but probably. And you'll see different guys start, and you'll see pinch hit opportunities, and you'll see guys move around. But I think LSU at second base is going to play a platoon all year. I think they're going to replace Daniel Dickinson's offense. I think they'll struggle to replace his defense, but that they'll be okay. That's a position that you can find some guys to play. They got Gavin Dugas out there for an entire season 2 years ago, and at the end of the season, he was playing on half a shoulder. So second base is not a position that that screams defense. Look, middle infield is my favorite thing in all of sports. I love middle infield defense. I prioritize it. I think you really have to prioritize left side defense at shortstop and third base. Those are non-negotiables. You have to play good defense there. It's a differentiator. A lot of college teams have their best defender playing shortstop, and there's usually a bat over at third base that you can struggle over there. LSU was the opposite last year, and I think it benefited them, and Caraway's been pretty good this year. But second, you can hide a less than stellar defender, and Dugas is a perfect example of that. You're getting more Gavin Dugas here than you're getting Daniel Dickinson when it comes to defense. But I think they're going to hit, and I think they're going to play all 3 guys all year. And the beauty of what LSU has cultivated over the last few years is that guys aren't complaining about that. Jake Brown and Josh Pearson really got along great last year. You didn't see Tanner Reeves pouting last year when Michael Braswell took his spot. You could go back to Chase Shores, who was a stellar bullpen guy and then was a starter. Then he was taken out of the rotation and lost that role, but he kept fighting and became the closer. You can look at Gavin Guidry 2 years ago, who was a shortstop when he came in and didn't hit. So then they put him at pitcher, and he took that challenge and went out there and did it. You can look at Gavin Dugas, who lost his job and wasn't in the lineup opening day in 2025. And then he becomes, stellar second baseman. You can look at Trey Morgan going to the outfield. Look at Cade Beloso, who wasn't in the lineup, who became a DH. And Jarrett Jones lost that job because Cade Beloso had to be in the lineup, and he never pouted or transferred. And he just became one of the most prolific home run hitters that LSU's had. Guys have accepted roles in this program, and Jay Johnson deserves so much credit for creating that. And I think that's going to apply here at second base as well. Guys may not play every single day in the starting lineup, but when they're called upon, it'll be in an advantageous situation, a spot where they can succeed, and I think they will at second base. So I'm positive thinking about LSU's second base situation entering the season. It's different than having Daniel Dickinson in there for 68 games, but I think it can be quite productive for LSU. So that's a look at second base. We still got plenty of time to go here. 45 minutes left on this Monday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Duvall and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. Look, if you've got faulty plumbing situations in your bathroom, whether it's a shower doesn't quite function like it's supposed to, or maybe it's a tub that you're having some issues with, don't just call the guy down the street and hand him some cash. Go with the guy who's been handling this type of stuff for 30 years. You may not need a repair. You may need a remodel or replacement. David can do that. He can do a replacement with your shower, do a replacement with your tub. Maybe you don't use your tub. Get rid of it and put in a walk-in shower. The tub-to-shower conversion is probably the thing that David does the most over there at One Bath and Closets. Go check out their great work at OneBathAndClosets.com. You'll see pictures of just how great their stuff looks. It's functional, it's customized, and it is gorgeous work. They're going to do it right the first time and leave the competition behind at One Bath and Closets. You can find them online and get that free consultation today at OneBathAndClosets.com.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we know each case and client are unique and that no 2 cases are the same. But one thing remains constant, and that is our passion to help our clients. After an accident, we know your life has changed, which is why we passionately fight to make you and your family whole. Remember, whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555. We're here to serve you.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. propane water heaters are very cost efficient. And the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
South Louisiana, it's turnaround season, and River Parish Contractors is calling in the best of the best. We're hiring pipe fitters, ironworkers, boiler makers, combo and structural welders, rig welders, carpenters, crane operators, dirt operators, and more. If you're ready to work, ready to earn, and ready to build something that lasts, call Big Jake at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Savor game day platters and snacks, plus drink specials at 1717 Kitchen and Cocktail. So come out for game.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Stick with the baseball theme. Feels like we're close to opening day, but like, just I think this is the worst week because like you get school comes in and then they start practicing and like the newness of practice is there. It's just like the first week of August. It's like really exciting to go out there and see the football team, and then you start to see some things emerge. But when you get to 2 weeks out. Like next week will be exciting because it is game week and you'll hear from Jay Johnson and hear from some of the players and like that'll be an exciting time. This week, it just still feels just a little bit too far to touch, but you're getting closer and closer. February is upon us. If you're looking for that baseball fix, you can go check it out on LouisianaSports.net. I've got a preview of first base and second base up. I do want to talk a little bit right now about some left-handed pitching options because that's important. Jay Johnson has said in the past that he learned from Augie Garrido, legendary former Texas coach, that you need to build your team around left-handed pitching and left-handed hitting. And Jay Johnson takes that to heart when you think about the infielders that he's brought in. It's all your infielders except first base have to be right-handed throwers, right? But he still finds a ton of infielders that hit left-handed. On this team, you've got Milam, who's a switch hitter. You've got York, who plays first base, left-handed. You've got Reeves, who hits left-handed. You've got Dardar, who hits left-handed. Like, they have rolled through guys who hit left-handed that play on the infield. And that's something that he looks at a lot, and it's something that he's had a lot of success with. It's also something that can get you bit in the draft because MLB teams want that too. I'm looking. Yeah, Jack Ruckert hits left-handed as well. I thought that was true, but I wanted to make sure. I've only seen him hit 3 times. But he hits left-handed too. I wanted to check that, so I did. But left-handed pitching, very important as well. And LSU brought in a lot of transfers with a lot of different options from the left side. There's only one, I think, right now that has a good chance to be a starting option. That's Cooper Williams. I talked about him at length last week. He has had a great preseason. He's striking guys out. He's throwing a ton of strikes. It's not eye-popping stuff. It's 91-92. I don't sense that the breaking ball is some sort of dominant plus pitch, but he sure does get a lot of outs, and we know he can throw the ball over the plate. So that's a guy that's got some opportunity to be a starting option, but there are left-handed options out of the bullpen that I think are very intriguing. Santiago Garcia is probably chief among them at this point. He comes from Oregon. He was really good late in the season for the Oregon Ducks. That was a regional team. It was a team that was bidding for a top 8 national seed. They hosted, and I thought Garcia had a really good year for them. He actually threw the ball very, very well in the summer as well. It's a traditional left-handed delivery, kind of high three-quarters. He throws a big breaking ball and a fastball that tops 90 miles an hour. He held Big Ten hitters to a 171 average last year in league play. Now, the Big Ten is not as good as the SEC, but he was a high leverage reliever for Oregon, also a high school teammate of Stephen Milam's, but he's a guy that I think the staff really likes. And a guy I know that they like, and he was brilliant yesterday, was Ethan Plog. I saw some of the statistics, talked to Musso and Koki and John Eads earlier today, who were out there watching some this weekend, and Plog dominated yesterday through the heart of LSU's lineup, missing bats, getting strikeouts. And it was a cold, blustery day, not the best day to hit, but missing bats is missing bats. Plog is a junior college transfer. He will not let it the radar gun, but it's funky. And a funky lefty just always has a place in a bullpen. It's a short arm, not sidearm delivery, but certainly three-quarters, and it's real short and quick. And he's got a good breaking ball that he will throw lots of left-handed hitters. And the fastball is enough to sneak by some guys. And they really like Plog for sure. It's just an awkward at-bat for a left-handed hitter. They just don't see it very well. Those are probably your top 2 options from the bullpen on the left side. And then you've got a little bit of a higher upside in Danny Lockenmeyer. I know that the staff was very, very high on him when they got him in. I don't know that his performances in the fall and preseason have matched up to those expectations, but he does throw pretty hard for a left-hander, somewhere in the low 90s, and he has had good numbers at North Dakota State. He pitched against LSU last year at the box. North Dakota State came in for a midweek, and he did pitch in that game and had some success. His ERA for the season at North Dakota State was 2.37 in 38 innings of work. He had 56 strikeouts against just 18 walks. Only allowed 2 home runs on the season, only hit 2 hitters in 38 innings. That's a guy that, if that's your 4th option as a left-hander, if you consider Williams 1 because he's a starter potential, then Garcia coming over from Oregon, then Plog is kind of your funky lefty. This is your 4th option. That's an encouraging thing. And this is something that I've been workshopping and thinking about and considering, and the more I think about it, the more I believe it. I think it's fair to call LSU starting rotation a question mark at this point. I think it's fair to call Kason Evans as an SEC ace a question mark. Not that he will be bad. I'm not suggesting that. He's just never done it before. And if you he'll just do what Cade Anderson did. He was a good freshman and came out and pitched well in the midweek, and then all of a sudden just took off as the ace and was the 3rd pick in the draft. Evans is that talented. He'll do that. And maybe he will. I would love that if he does that. That'd be great. But I don't know that. But what I feel like is likely. Let me phrase this differently. I think it's more likely that LSU has like 8 bullpen arms it trusts and uses those guys very liberally in the middle innings of games, even on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, where, your starter only goes 4 1/3, and then you go to the funky lefty, and then you turn the ball over to Devin Sheeran, and then you turn the ball over to Zach Cowan, and then you turn the ball over to Santiago Garcia for 2 lefties, and then you turn the ball over to Maverick Rizzi to close it. And you've used like 5 bullpen guys to get through the last 4 innings because you feel like those guys are more trustworthy. I think that's a more likely scenario for LSU's pitching staff than having a repeat of Holman Jump and Anderson Hines. Just immediately having those 2 guys who are workhorses at the front end. Because I don't know right now who those 2 guys would be. Evans, Schmidt, Cooper Moore, Cooper Williams, maybe Marcos Paz grows into that. But I don't know. Those are all questions. I think Cooper Moore is a starter. Do I think he's going to be second in the SEC in strikeouts like Anthony Ianson? I don't know about that. It could be. Like, Nate Yeski's awesome. Jamie Tutko is awesome. The development those guys have done with pitchers has been phenomenal. I'm not telling you it can't happen, but I do feel better about the sheer volume of relievers. And maybe that's the way you eat up more innings. Instead of, over the course of the first 2 games of the weekend, Anderson and Ianson accounting for 14 innings, maybe your 2 starters only account for 9.5, 9 2/3. They go 5 innings and 4 2/3 innings, and then the bullpen, because you've got so much depth and so much talent and so much ability to match up because you've got left-handed options and you've got power arms. You've got proven commodities. Callan's a proven commodity. Guidry's a proven commodity. Rizzi has led the team in appearances last year. I haven't even talked about Grant Fontenot. Haven't even talked about, some of these guys that are back into that bullpen. There may be 9 or 10 guys that can get it done. That usually doesn't materialize, but staffs don't usually have this much depth. Most teams, when they get to Omaha, have their 5 guys total they trust. That includes a starter or 2. Like LSU got through the championship series last year. Anderson, complete game shutout. Ianson, 6 or whatever he went. Shores, 3. That's it. 3 pitchers, lights out. And that's a great way to do it, but that may not be what this team is. This team may not lean as heavily on its starters and more heavily on its relievers because you've got so many of them that have so much ability. That's what I think right now. And it starts, my brain started in that direction with the fact that you've got these lefty options, and it continued in that way when I started to think about and honestly watch some of the starters. Like Kaysen hasn't been great in preseason. Cooper Williams has been good. Cooper Moore's been good. William Schmidt struggled with control. Evans has gotten hit a little bit. It hasn't been dominant. But again, that's January baseball. I'm not losing a lot of sleep of it or putting all the stock in it. I'm just aware of what I'm watching and what I know, which is the back end of this team is really talented in the bullpen. It may be a reliever-dominated team. And look, I think most of y'all watch and pay attention to LSU baseball. Most of you may not watch Major League Baseball. When you get to the playoffs in Major League Baseball, they're asking their starters for 8 outs. They're asking their starters for 10 outs. And then they just start bringing in the guys that throw 100. And LSU doesn't have a bunch of guys that throw 100, but it's college baseball. They got a bunch of guys that throw hard, that have good stuff, that miss bats. And with this team, I can easily see a situation where you use Ethan Plog and Maverick Rizzi and Zach Cowan and Santiago Garcia on Friday, and then you can come back on Saturday with Sheeran and Lockenmeyer, and there are multiple more options down the line. Grant Fontenot, you saw a lot of Connor Benj last year. He's improved. It's just, you can use a lot of different bullpen options if you don't have 2 horses. I prefer the way with the 2 horses. I prefer that way. I think that's your best path through the postseason. But banking on that to happen every single year is aggressive. It's possible. And LSU found Skeens and Floyd, and they found Holman and Jump, and they found Anderson and Ianson. But sometimes it may not work out that way. And you might have somebody that looks a little bit more like Landon Marceau in the front of your rotation as opposed to Cade Anderson. That was a different staff, but same point. We'll see. It is one of the reasons college baseball is my favorite sport. The ever-evolving nature of the roster is fascinating to me. And usually you don't start one guy on Friday on opening day, start one guy on Saturday, game 2, and those guys go the entire way like last year was. I'd love it if it happens. I'll pull for it to happen, but if it doesn't, what's plan B? I think plan B is pretty good in this instance with all the depth that LSU has, especially with those left-handers. So that's a little look at baseball. It's the first 30 minutes of hour number 2 on LSU baseball. We'll transition out of that when we come back on I guess this would be a Monday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Marucci, go check him out over there at Marucci. It is baseball season. Fighting Tigers on the field in 2 weeks. Youth baseball and softball are cranking up. If your youth baseball player doesn't have a bat, youth softball player doesn't have a bat, Marucci's got them. They're the official bat of Major League Baseball. They make 1,200 of them a day. Go on by. Take some hacks in the cage. Go on by and take a campus tour. See where the official bat of Major League Baseball is made. Such a cool story from Marucci. Talking about 22 years ago, started making them in the backyard. Now, the best in the world use them. And it's right here in Baton Rouge. Take your youth softball team to go see them. Take your youth baseball team to go take a tour and see where these bats are made. Take some hacks in the cage as well. Find them online at maruccisports.com. Click on Campus Tour. That's maruccisports.com.
South Louisiana, it's turnaround season, and River Parish Contractors is calling in the best of the best. We're hiring pipe fitters, iron workers, boiler makers, combo and structural welders, rig welders, carpenters, crane operators, dirt operators, and more. If you're ready to work, ready to earn, and ready to build something that lasts, call Big Jake at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
Make Raising Cane's the first stop for your second line. Get extra saucy with a Cane's doubloon for just $1 that scores you extra cane sauce through April 3rd with any purchase. Let the good times roll this Mardi Gras with Raising Cane's. One love.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
I'm lawyer Locke Meredith. If you're battling an insurance company because of a wreck not your fault and they're not calling you back or being fair, whether you hire us at all, give us a call, 272-5555, or email Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates. You have nothing to lose.
Hello, I'm Collins Meredith. If you've been injured on the job, you'll likely have a workers' compensation claim, but you may also have a tort claim which opens up significant recovery rights not normally available for a work injury. If this is you, call us or come see us at Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Love telling you about Lifetime Roofing. You can find them online, lifetimeroofingla.com. Just let the folks at Lifetime come check your roof out. They'll tell you what needs to be done, and they'll be honest with you because they care about the people of this community. They're from this community, and they want to do what's best for you. So that doesn't always mean, hey, just throw another roof up there. They'll inspect it. That part's free. If they think, hey, it's just a repair, we can do that. Get that done. Maybe it's a tune-up that you need to reinforce that roof. They can handle that as well, and if you do need a new roof, they can handle that part as well. Financing is available, 0% up to 18 months. That's the same as cash. And if you got a sizable deductible, you want to finance that as well, they can do that. They've got a team there in place to help you work through that process step by step to get that new roof on your home. Your home, for most of us, is the biggest investment you ever make. And the folks under that roof, pretty important. Got to take your roof seriously down here in South Louisiana. Anywhere in the state of Louisiana, Lifetime Roofing can help you out, and they're happy to do so with a lifetime workmanship warranty. Started offering that this year on January 1st. A lifetime workmanship warranty from the folks at Lifetime Roofing. You can find them online at lifetimeroofingla.com. So this was always coming, right? We could see it coming from a mile away. The Saints established their marketing rights in Paris, and you're kind of looking at that like, what? Why? Because they're going to go play there. And that is, in fact, going to happen. News broke over the weekend from a French radio station that tweeted it out, and the Saints have confirmed it. I saw that Gail Benson was speaking about it earlier today. After months of negotiations, it's finally official. The post on Twitter read, the first NFL game in France will take place in Paris at the Stade de France on October 25th, 2026. The New Orleans Saints will play the Cleveland Browns. And there was another post that said Shedeur Sanders was seen at the Stade de France doing some sort of promotional shoot there. So it'll be Saints and Browns from across the pond. Like, I've made my thoughts on these games pretty clear. I don't necessarily need it. It does create another television window for the folks that just can't get enough NFL. You can wake up and have a little coffee football for you in the morning. I would prefer that the NFL teams play in front of their season ticket holders, play in front of their fans, as opposed to flying across the world. I think that makes things tough to fly back and either play that week or have to put your off week there. I've heard Jacob Hester talk about the horrors of playing over there and that the fans didn't really know what was going on and all that. And I don't need it, but I'm not going to throw a fit about it at all. What it is going to do is going to create a really cool opportunity for a lot of Saints fans. I got a text from a buddy of mine who is a diehard Saints fan, whose wife likes the Saints but doesn't really care, but really likes Paris. And she said, well, I think I'm going to lose this battle because my wife's finally going to use my Saints fandom against me here to make sure we buy tickets to get on a plane and go over there and see that game in Paris. So the game is going to be about 30 miles north of the Eiffel Tower there in France. It'll be the first game ever played in the NFL in France, and the Saints will be a part of it. I think a lot of folks will make that trip. Coincidentally, I'm going to be over there at that time. My wife and I are going on a 5-year anniversary trip to Europe in the fall during LSU's bye week. That's the only time I can go in the fall. So LSU's going to play Auburn on Saturday before the bye. Then we're going to fly out Sunday and be gone entering the bye week, which is when this game will be played. And then I'll come back for Bama week the following week. But I will not, I don't think, be going up to the game at Paris. You going to go to Paris?
Man, please, man. what money I got to go to Paris? I'm about to say, what
credit card, baby. Put it on the credit card. Pay it off later. Get a little, 20% interest rate on that credit card.
Okay, I'm gonna steal somebody's identity. I'm about to say, I ain't coming out of my pockets.
What do you think about the international games?
I think they suck, honestly. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I'm gonna be real, guys. I'm not waking up at 8 a.m. to watch like certain. I think it's not the international games per se. It's the matchups. Okay, because it's certain times where it's like, why am I getting the Jaguars versus the Vikings or something like that? Do I really want to wake up at 8 in the morning and watch the Toy Story broadcast with Bijan Robinson, wherever the Falcons were playing at? Oh, the Jaguars, of course.
But, I mean, if the Saints are going to lose a home game to go play in Paris, like, you don't want them to lose the Falcons game. Like, you might as well lose the Browns game. Like, I don't want them to lose any game. I'm on record. I would like them to play all those games in New Orleans. Everything's a cash grab. Everything in every sport is a freaking cash grab. This is a cash grab, and that's what they're trying to do. But, like, I would prefer the Saints fans get their home game.
Oh, no. Look, I totally agree with you, but also I'm speaking from a place of somebody that can't afford to make the trip. So if I was working with the team or somebody that could, I would be all like, oh, yeah, we're going to Paris. So, again, I'm just speaking as somebody that's hating from the outside the club.
It's also just a weird, like the Saints fans will show up to this.
Yeah,
and, I'm sure Cleveland will show up too.
Yeah.
Cleveland has nothing to cheer about, but they sure do get behind the Browns. And so in this game, in October, but I mean, we think this is going to be an impactful Saints season. So I think they're going to see a lot of folks. The Saints haven't gone over there since they played the Vikings in 2022.
That game sucked.
That game was in England, the England showdown. But this is going to be over in Paris. So I don't love it, but I think there are some people that think this is a great opportunity, and it's a game you probably need to win. I mean, you figure if I'm looking at the schedule and I've got Browns home.
Yeah.
That's a game I need to win.
Yes.
So now you're taking it out of the dome. You're going to do it overseas. You're going to create some different. I mean, like Hester's played in this game. He said like they don't really know what's going on. Like they do some singing and like Paris doesn't know how bad the Browns are. But this is a game you need to win. You need to fly over there and win because that's a game that if you're a playoff team and the Browns come to you, that should be a W. And now you got to play that game in Paris. So we'll see.
And also, I think, like you said, it can do a lot for certain players. I think this is a really good opportunity for Tyler Shuck. Now, also to just go out there and get his name out there internationally wise, but just something about the last name Shuck and just with a French fan base. I don't know. I feel like they can do something with that. They can make something work with that. Shucko or something. I don't speak French. But
You don't speak French?
Oh, no.
You don't
look.
say.
No. Listen. I took 3 years of Spanish in college, and I still couldn't tell you what a dog is. So it's just like, you know.
Pero.
I
took a lot of Spanish, but let's just completely drive off into the ditch here.
Let's go.
When I was a sophomore at LSU,
yes,
we had Gustav run through. No, junior at LSU, sorry, junior. Gustav came through. It was a disastrous hurricane.
08.
Yeah,
yes,
08, yes, correct.
Okay.
And so we had to shuffle our schedule around, and I was okay at Spanish, but I certainly needed to study. And they put some of our classes on Saturday because we missed class for Gustav.
Yes.
And one of the Saturday classes was the day of the LSU-Auburn game.
Oh, well, that's
Jarrett
not
Lee
happening.
threw a touchdown to Brandon LaFell under 5 minutes to go to win the game, 08 in Auburn. And, of course, I went to the game,
Yeah,
so
of
I didn't
course.
go to class.
Come on now.
Well, the syllabus was all jacked up because we missed all those days of school, so
Yeah.
the calendar didn't line up. Well, they had told us on that Saturday that we had a test on Tuesday. Well, I was in Auburn watching Jarrett Lee, Andrew Hatch get a concussion, and Jarrett Lee beat Auburn. So I showed up to class on Tuesday.
Cooked.
They start passing out a test. I was like, well, I'm not ready for this test. And I did very poorly on that test, I think. But I did have fun in Auburn.
Hey.
We won the game.
No regrets, though.
Went to Sky Bar, got the dub. I think Keelan Williams threw a touchdown pass in that game.
Yeah, look, that's the best part about college. You can have a story like that and live to tell the tale. Like, hey, man, no regrets. I would do it again. I would do it again.
I don't even know how we got on that.
No, you said we're going to drive off the ditch.
It's foreign language. That's how we got there.
Oh, well, see, my issue
you can't
was,
speak French.
Well, my issue was they tricked us in high school. I ended up taking Latin in high school for my foreign language. So when I went to college, that's why I had no Spanish or French, because my stupid tail was taking Latin.
Yeah.
That's a dead language.
My 4-year-old's in daycare. They teach him Spanish. He said some Spanish word the other day. He's got all these accents now because he watches Peppa Pig, which is a British cartoon.
Accent, yes.
So he says some word. He said he called an elevator a lift the other day.
Oh, Lord.
Got to get on the lift. I was like, what? Where am I? So now he's learning Spanish at daycare. He's got English in his British accent from Peppa Pig. He watches Bluey. That's Australian.
Oh, man,
so
I like this guy.
He's world traveled at 4 years old.
No, that's lit. No, you see, you should be happy about that, because when he gets older, you never know. He might be able to. He might be an actor or something. You never know, man.
We'll see. All right, let's take a time out. We'll come back and close it out next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. SwingEasyGCBR.com is the website. Still cold out there. Not great to go out and play 18 holes of golf, but you can at Swing Easy inside in like an hour and a half at one of the greatest courses in the world. Call it Pebble Beach. They play that famous tournament every April. Give out the jacket for it. You can play that course too on the Swing Simulator. It's really realistic. It's a lot of fun. It's a different way to play golf. But hey, they can deliver you a bucket of beers, bucket of seltzers. You can crank the tunes in there, turn on the TV, invite some clients, invite some friends. Book a tee time at Swing Easy Golf Club. Great place to hang out and play a little indoor simulator golf there on Seagan at Perkins. Swing Easy Golf Club online, swingeasygcbr.com.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience, or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
It's 2026 and you're thinking about your future. College, workforce, tech school? This could help clear it up for you. According to a 2025 Georgetown University study, ITI Technical College ranked as the #1 college in all of Louisiana for return on investment. So the better return on your dollar for your education begins here. Call us or visit us online to start your new career or to get the life that you've always wanted for your family. ITI Technical College. We're in the better life business.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith with Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates. We take great pride in educating our clients about their rights. Whether you're injured at work or while you drive, call our office at 272-5555. Knowledge is power, and you should know your rights after an injury.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan of Lock Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates. When insurance companies have been unfair, we've never been afraid to go to trial. Fighting hard to protect your rights, we never settle a case out of convenience. We only settle when it's right for you. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
It is Super Bowl week. Matt Moscone will be out there in San Francisco, I believe Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for his show. It should be a lot of great content. We had such a great time as a station last year with the Super Bowl in New Orleans. We'll send Matt out to San Francisco. He's planning on getting some great content. Should be able to talk to Will Campbell, Kayshon Boutte at the Super Bowl Media Days. I know Kay Levon is there as well. So should have some good content there, and then obviously tons of guests. That was quite a sight to see last year when we were there all week long for the Super Bowl. Just a who's who walking around at all times, and had a chance to sit down with Steve Levy. Had a chance to sit down with we had Kurt Schilling on the show. Brian Brzee was on. We had Blake Groupie on the show as well. So a lot of fun last year at the Super Bowl, and Matt will get to do a lot of that coming up this week from San Francisco starting on Wednesday. We also noticed like Monday and Tuesday not quite as hopping, not quite as much going on. It's easy for us to do it when we just drive down to New Orleans, so it was worth doing that. But to do a whole week there in San Francisco, especially early on in the week, probably not quite worth it. So going to capitalize on the heavy traffic time on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Rivers will be out there as well, so should be great content. Looking forward to hearing what they produce for us. We'll be back here, man in the home base, and talking a little bit of baseball as well. If you're looking for a baseball fix, I've got two position previews up at LouisianaSports.net right now. That is first base and second base. I'll do one a day. Also, continue to break down the LSU football team on Portal Profiles. One note from football I wanted to get to this weekend. Big visit for LSU on the cornerback front. Josh Dobson, the number one corner in the country, visited. LSU had contacted him, had gone out to visit him in North Carolina. He booked a visit, came down and visited over the weekend. That apparently went very, very well. There have been some predictions already by the experts put in for LSU to land the 5-star corner. ESPN's got him as a 5-star. Rivals has him as a 5-star as well. Rivals has him as the number one corner in the country. He's 6'1". He's 170 pounds. And if he commits here in the next couple of weeks, we'll probably spend a little bit more time talking about him. But one of the things that stood out to me was in the written story that I read about his visit, talked about how Corey Raymond likes to develop. He likes to bring in freshmen and develop them over the course of 3 or 4 years. Doesn't want to have to go into the transfer portal each and every year. Now, you get Mansour Delane out of the transfer portal, you go get him if you need to do that. But he likes to bring in the high school kids, and that's a message that still rings true nationally. And he's done that his entire time at LSU. gotten guys from California, gotten guys from Florida. Dobson's from North Carolina, gotten guys from Louisiana. If it's a high-profile corner, no matter what corner of the country they call home, Corey Raymond generally gets in the mix, and he certainly is with Josh Dobson. It feels like LSU's got a great chance to land the number one corner in the country in this class. You got that with DJ Pickett last year. Seems to be working out pretty well. Didn't go heavy on corners in this past class, but certainly Haven Finney, a guy that they're very, very high on, and maybe in the next class, number one corner in the country, could be headed to LSU. Josh Dobson from Cornelius, North Carolina, was in over the weekend. Apparently, all things pointing LSU's direction there. That's a very, very good sign. All right, we'll take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
All right, so legendary offensive coordinator Gus Malzahn has retired from college football today after 35 years in coaching, including stints as the Arkansas State, Auburn, and UCF head coach. In 13 seasons, Malzahn went to have a 105-62 record. Only 2 losing seasons, couple national championship appearances. So did college football lose a great offensive mind? Take it or leave it.
I'll take it. Gus had an awesome career. He did a really good job at Auburn. I think he was constantly on the hot seat because you were dealing with Nick Saban and Kirby Smart, and every once in a while he'd knock both of them off in a month. And that month where they had the prayer at Jordan Hare and the kick six is a 3-week stretch that we'll never see again.
Special.
I mean, that was the most ridiculous thing I've ever sat through. But he did a good job at Auburn. He kept up with Saban the best you possibly could have there. Yep. There were years they got crushed, and that was just going to happen. But there were years they punched back. And during that era, really the only teams that were punching back from like 08 through 17 were LSU and Auburn. Nobody else was. Like, Urban left. Then A&M couldn't do it. Manziel did once.
Yeah.
Mississippi State, certainly not. Ole Miss,
every
once in a while.
Yeah.
Arkansas, no shot. Tennessee lost every year. So Auburn and LSU were the only two that were really throwing punches. And look, Malzahn did a great job there at Auburn and got a chance to be head coach one more time at Central Florida and then called some plays at Florida State. And he's probably got enough cash to take it on to the house at this point. And I don't blame any college football coach for wanting to do that now.
Especially with this day and age. So on Friday, we talked about what Clint Kubiak picked between the Arizona Cardinals and the Los Angeles. I said Los Angeles. They used to be in Los Angeles. Las Vegas Raiders. Well, it's come out that he's going to pick the Las Vegas Raiders. But, no deal can be finalized until after the Super Bowl. So is Kubiak making the right decision picking the Raiders? Take it or leave it.
Has anyone ever made the right decision picking the Raiders?
No.
Maybe John Madden.
Leave it alone. I mean, not really. Nobody.
John Gruden got to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You got the first pick.
Mendoza?
You got Mendoza. You got a shiny new stadium. They got blackjack tables down the street.
Right. I mean, you got Genty and Bowers. I mean, does Max Crosby still want to play with them? I really don't know at this point.
I mean, it's you got some guys, but it's the Raiders. They're probably not going to be good. That's just the way that generally seems to work out.
Wouldn't hurt too bad to be a millionaire in Vegas. So look, shout out Clint Kubiak, Mr. Halfback toss. So, Hunt, it's officially the 1-year anniversary of the Luka Doncic trade.
Oh, okay.
So the entire world, Groundhog Day, the entire world stood still for a moment. Nico Harrison did not even see a full season after the trade, and Anthony Davis is currently hurt and on the trading block. So can we say this is the worst trade of probably all time?
Yes, take it. I have no problem with that. It's a star league, and you had a top 5 player in the league, and you traded him for a guy who never plays and is past his prime. So, not a great idea. I realize I heard the reasoning that he gave. It was just terrible reasoning.
Terrible reasoning.
Just terrible reasoning. So, yeah, that's not good. Are the Bucks about to trade Giannis?
I mean, look, I would hope so because, again, Pelicans are intertwined in that. Just do not send him to the Spurs, whatever. Just do not answer the Spurs calls and do not answer OKC calls. Answer anybody else calls. You just cannot let this man go to the Thunder or the Spurs. Simple as that. I don't care where he goes.
I mean, how does that even work if you were with one of those two teams? Well,
see, the thing about that, Hunt, those are the only two teams that actually have so much assets from years. OKC is basically the mafia of the NBA. They've done dirty deals with everybody, and they're just sitting on this stockpile of picks just waiting to hit the red button. This could be the red button. I hope not, though. Lord,
that would be hilarious.
It would be terrible. Like that would be worse than Kevin Durant going to the Warriors. It will be up there, yes. Even though he's not willingly going out his way, it's more of a trade. Still, can't do it.
How old is Giannis?
30, about 30 or 31. So he still has a couple more years.
He's got some good hoops left in him.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, he's not LeBron, but he'll definitely.
I saw LeBron post on Twitter this weekend where he was like coming off the left wing and he just exploded through the air and caught an alley-oop and splashed it. And somebody was like, man, watching LeBron's decline has really been sad. He's just like soaring through the air.
But the crazy part is he's right. Like couple years back, his head's at the rim.
Yeah.
Like he's barely getting there now. So by the time it's looking like it's about to catch up with him. So that's it for Take It or Leave It.
All right, that's it for Take It or Leave It here on this Monday. We talked a lot of baseball in the second hour, talked a lot of football with a little hoops in the first hour. Missed any of the show today. As always, catch it on demand wherever you find your sound. Just search Hunt Palmer Show. If you're just looking for LSU, Hunt on LSU. Just looking for Saints, Hunt on Saints. We got lots to talk about tomorrow. I'll continue on my LSU baseball position breakdowns, talk a little bit about LSU's infield tomorrow, and whatever else comes to mind with Glenn West and Sharif Ishak on this Tuesday. Hope everybody has a safe and wonderful Monday evening. Matt's going to drive you home next on After Further View. We're back tomorrow, same time, same place for a Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the